Welcome, everybody, to the Wrestling is Art YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing and going over my review for NXT last night. First of all, this is one of the most consistent brands for me that is in very good land, and I'm ecstatic that they've got a new deal for, I think, 4 or 5 years with the CW. Getting an increase in pay, which I love it. Cannot wait. Should be very good. Now, let's kick into our review of NXT from last night. Okay, first off, in my, I think I have a top 4 or 5 today. In my grand scheme of things. Oh, hang on. First off, I want to talk about Lola Vice. And her winning that breakout tournament is setting her up for so much success, and I'm so happy. Because NXT's women's division is one of, to me, actually, it's my favorite women's division. Better than main roster for me right now in booking perspective, and better than AEW, of course, in booking perspective. And in the way they use them, HBK down there in NXT, he uses the women very well. I'm very ecstatic about them getting a new TV deal. And one of the bright spots in it is Lola Vice, the new breakout tournament winner, who will get a shot at Lyra at some point. I cannot wait to see that. That should be a very good match when that happens. Um, so I wanted to get the whole women's division a bit of a kind of go over real quick in my review. So next up is Kalani Jordan. Okay, if I'm being honest here, she is a future NXT Women's Champ. Same for Lola Vice. But I'm gonna tell you this, guys. I wouldn't mind her taking a detour and we get Roxanne Perez and Kalani Jordan as a tag team. That's why I kind of wish the tag belts are still in NXT, or at least gets defended down there. Because Roxanne and Kalani versus the current tag champs would be pretty cool. Can't wait. Oh, Kalani Jordan's definitely a future women's world champ. Same for Lola. In my opinion, the top three that need to be called up from the women's division of NXT: Roxanne, Tiffany. It's Roxanne, Tiffany, and it might end up being Gigi. To be honest with you, that might be the three that get called up soon. I'm definitely saying Tiffany and Roxanne should be called up soon. But if we're putting her in a tag team with Kalani for a little bit, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Um, just so much great talent down in NXT that are still so young in their careers, that are still learning. It's so great to see. Now let's go over another woman that I wanted to outline. You know what? Actually, she is one of my MVPs of the show. So yes, yep. Ariana Grace, the daughter of Santino Marella. I can't explain to you how much she is great in this role. She just plays it perfectly. Like how Chelsea Green plays on the main roster. She is so good as like this pageant queen, the Miss NXT role. I love it. I love it very much. It's very good. Um, she's in the MVPs of last night's NXT for me. She is so good. She gets it. Man, I can't wait. She's solid in the ring, but her skills in the way of Mike's skills is amazing. I like the way they're going with her, and she just fits the role so well. Can't wait to see what they do with her. But Ariana Grace is definitely one of my MVPs of last night. These are not in really specific order, but ecstatic. Now another one of my MVPs last night, Alpha Academy down in NXT. Akira Tozawa going after that Heritage Cup against Noam Dar. Sick. I liked it. I like it. You have to Booker T. Um, it's cool seeing Maxine down there with Otis, Tozawa, Chad Gable back down there. How long has it been since Chad's been down? Hasn't been in NXT, man. He was part of one of the greatest NXT tag teams. Him and Jason Jordan. Um, but yes, Otis was going crazy last night on NXT with his stretch this. But yes, Tozawa and everybody of the Alpha Academy back next week on NXT. Sign me up. They were one of my MVPs of last night's NXT. Can't wait to see more of them on even main roster. Akira Tozawa is doing very well in this role, and I'm happy for him. Next thing I wanted to go over, and this is basically my main MVP, but I've got a slight MVP at the end. But my last MVP for the show is, whoop, I need to enlarge the picture. As you know, the me and my personal opinions of this is if they book this right, and last night they were kind of cooking on the mic, kind of cooking until Lexus King came out. And I will say this: I've seen worse promos by him. I have seen worse, and he's kind of just playing this antagonist, or not antagonist, but instigator. And I'm fine with it as long as he's not the one that did it. Because I really love the idea of the Carmelo Hayes Trick Williams Carmelo's last feud in NXT before getting called up at Rumble time. That excites me. This right here was in the making since 2.0 NXT. The great friendship, and it ends just because of this. And man, I want to see it. In my hot take, to me, this isn't a hot take. This is going to be the most interesting storyline since Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano down in NXT. Does that mean they're going to have a great wrestling match? No. Does that mean they're going to have a great storyline and great feud? Heck yeah. Cannot wait for the feud. That feud right there is one. This is my most anticipated. Oop, I might have got too loud for you guys. But this is my most anticipated thing in NXT is this feud between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Cannot wait for it. My number one MVP of last night's NXT. And I cannot wait for that match. For the feud. And I want to see how they do it. Because that right there, my friends, is what do they call it? Cinema? Okay, but next thing we're gonna go over, and is not an. It's definitely not a. I got it a little too big. Yep. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Deadline December 9th. They're building it up with the Iron Survivor Challenge, which surprised me last year. That match was one of my favorite match concepts that NXT has brought up and is using again. That's basically replaced the War Games stip that they had that's now on the main roster. So what I'm going to tell you here is how I would book to Deadline. So I have in Rumble time, I at least have three names getting called up for the Rumble: Tiffany, Carmelo, and Braun Breaker. All three at least being in the Rumble and getting called up by Rumble. So with that being said, my booking ideas would be we either do Trick and Melo at the pay per view one on one at Deadline, or we do at Deadline the Iron Survivor with Trick and Melo in it, and then we might get Lexus King in there, which is going to be interesting. But let me think in my head of the Iron Survivor. I'm trying to think. The men's. Okay, the men's. I'm trying to think. Okay, we got Dijak as the first official member of the Iron Survivor. So Dijak, Mello, Trick, Lexus King, and then trying to think of another dude that'd be in that Iron Survivor that'd be good. Uh, who's somebody that hasn't been used fully that would be perfect in that role? I don't know. I'm trying to think off my head because there's gonna be four more in both matches. But Tiffany Stratton, I could see Roxanne getting put in there. Oh, no, you can't have Lola in there because Lola's got that. So maybe you see Kalani. I don't know. We'll see. Because there's so much women's talent down there. We'll probably see Blair Davenport for sure. That should be very interesting. The Blair Davenports and stuff like that. See how who gets put into these Iron Survivor challenges, which was amazing. Not amazing. You know what? It's very good last year. The concept was amazing. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, but cannot wait. December 9th, Deadline, Bridgeport, Connecticut for NXT Deadline. Let's go. Should be very good. The build for Trick and Mello, if it's building towards that, should be very good. And if it's not for that and he stays a little longer in NXT to build that, I wouldn't mind it. But as long as he's in the Rumble match. So, what we're going to do here is we'll come back later, but these are my MVPs of NXT last night. So, I'm going to get off here, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Cannot wait. Cannot wait for Deadline. Cannot wait for next week's NXT. And I'm so happy to hear about the CW deal with NXT. The only thing that's going to suck about that CW contract and deal is going to be in October next year. They're only going to have 2 hours. I like their their overrun. I really do. But put down in the comments, do you want me to live react to next week's NXT? And do you want me to live react to NXT Deadline in December? I cannot wait for that event. Cannot wait for next week's NXT. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace and love to all of you. Have a great rest of your day. And I am out of here. Peace.